have the same beer that we had last week as our beer of the week.
All right.
Did you notice the little crown in the tab? Do all buds have that?
I think they do. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not like a bud drinker, so I never really noticed, but it's a nice touch.
Yeah, it is a nice touch. I wonder. I think Bud Light does that.
So we're on the Bud Zero kick.
Yeah.
Dry January has come into dry February.
Yeah, my dry January ended.
There's ice in this. I'm sorry.
Wow, your fridge is really cold.
It's like,
is it a slushy?
It's like a slushy. It's so cold. I have. Does yours have ice in it?
There's no slushy. But
I can't even drink past the ice.
It might be a little. Yeah, it might be a little solid. It might be a little solid.
Nothing like a good old beer slushy. Sorry, your dry January.
Yeah, it ended and rolled right into. I cheated, like I said, at the game dinner, and then rolled right into wet February.
Amen.
Yeah,
but you did bring in athletics, though.
I did. Yeah, I still haven't cracked open a alcoholic beer. Yeah, so I still have a couple
on the show. Yeah, but so what did you break your dry January with?
Rum and Coke.
At the game dinner?
No, at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What'd you have at the game dinner?
Bud Light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So other than, you're gonna break it up with your little finger there.
I did notice that. Like you had an athletic in there for a long time, and I took it out and I was like, "Fucking gold," because like the can isn't like solid. Like you could kind of like
squish it.
Yeah.
That happened to us. Well, not with the mini fridge, but our big fridge. My daughter was born literally the week after. The thing between the freezer and the fridge broke, so all of our stuff froze, breast milk included. Like, remember, newborn child. So I went out and got a mini fridge, which has since turned into my beer fridge after we got it fixed.
There you go. Yeah, that's all right. So that's our beer of the week already.
Yeah.
I don't remember. So this week we're going to run through, we'll make final predictions on the Super Bowl with some information that we may or may not have leading up to it. But we're going to start off, we're going to do a little, like some thoughts about the 2023 season of each team and then a little prediction about the 2024.
Yeah, I like that.
And I'll let you run through. Your conference is the AFC.
Yeah. Sorry, I had the NFL website open here and then I closed it.
This is a good slushy.
So we can start in the AFC East. We'll skip our teams because I'm sure a lot happened.
A lot happened,
coaching wise, executive wise, ownership wise.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to talk about in New England and Washington.
Yep. All right. So starting in the American Football Conference in the AFC East, we got the Buffalo Bills, who won this division at 11-6.
It's still crazy that they ended up winning that division.
They were like 6-6 at one point, right?
Yeah, they won out.
Yep, they did win out. That's wild. They finished the season on a 5-game winning streak. And yeah, they won the division in the last game of the season and blew it in the playoffs against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Interesting to know if you're looking at the standings, other than New England, which New England had a better road record than they did home record, but everybody's away record. Nobody was over 500 in that division, which is interesting. I was surprised that Buffalo came back because they were 6-6 at one point and they won the division. It's like the same story with them though. They just can't get.
Yeah, they can't get over that hump.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced, and I said it when we talked about that game, that Josh Allen, not that he blew the game for them, but he could have set them up in a better spot than he did at the end there. Chris Jones kind of won the game for the Chiefs because he was rushing him so fast. He had the guy open in the end zone. He just missed him because he was rushing it. I just feel like they just can't get over that hump. And without a running game, even though James Cook did come on a little bit in the season, and if they rely too much on Josh Allen, it's never going to happen. Never going to happen.
He's just like I think he's a better version of Brett Favre. Very risky with what he does, but I think he's probably a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely a gunslinger.
So predictions for them in 2024.
Man, I can see them winning the division again, depending on what shakes out with Diggs. I'm not convinced that McDermott is the coach for them either. I think he got him as far as he can, but they're not going to. I don't think they're going to fire him. I'm curious to see if Brady Brady. That's the offensive coordinator's name, right? That they promoted
after
they fired Dorsey. So I'm curious to see how he does with the full season. They might be okay, and if Cook can really pick it up, then I can see them winning the division. And it's like the same thing in the last 3 years. They're in the hunt and probably will fall short.
I agree. I think it's going to be that, and it's going to be interesting what they do with Diggs. I think their glaring hole has been a run game. It did come on in the second half of the season. I just don't know if I don't know what they need, but they're in this weird, they're very competitive.
Yeah.
But they just, I mean, I would love to be in the situation Buffalo's in, right, where they're making the playoffs. They're a very good team. You're probably just like, it's very much like the Celtics. Like, they kept going back and back with the same team. And then this year in the offseason, they're like, we have to trade some major pieces to move shit in to try to get over this hump. So that's where Buffalo needs to figure out how they get over this hump.
Yeah. I mean, at least the Celtics went to the championship. The Bills haven't even made it.
Fair.
And they should have made it. Like, at least the Bengals went. My thing with them is McDermott is supposed to be a defensive coach, and every year in the playoffs, they get freaking smoked by an offense. Like, the offense keeps, like, Josh Allen and the offense keeps him in the game, but they never have, there's games where Belichick, you're just like, wow, he coached the pants off of that defense. You never hear that with McDermott. He never holds a team to, like, 10 points.
You have been very anti-McDermott.
Oh, yeah.
For the last couple of seasons.
I would have fired him after 13 seconds. I am on record. I'll show you to you. I'll send you the screenshot.
If they fall short next year, do you think he's gone?
He's got to be. He's got to be. Write it down.
A little hot take for
2024.
A little hot take.
He's got to be. At this point, it's like, he's had the team, and Diggs is not getting any younger. He's probably getting unhappier. So not a McDermott fan.
I get it.
Don't like him.
I get it. If they end up with a worse record for some reason, I could see them firing him. But if they go back and they do 11-6 again, I think it's tough. It's like, is it the coaching, or it's like are you missing a piece, or is the piece your coaching?
People thought Diggs might have been the piece, but I think the piece is the coaching. I mean, how many times you've seen at least, the Buccaneers fired Dungy and they got Gruden and he put him over the hump, and then Dungy helped with the Colts get over the hump. Yeah. So I can see it being a coach thing for sure.
We'll see.
Next up, we got everyone's favorite in the show, the Miami Dolphins. They were a recurring theme on this show, as they were the second hot take ever on the show was that they were only going to beat bad teams and lose to good teams. And that played out quite spectacularly by the fact that they had less wins against 500 teams over 500 than the New England Patriots.
It goes to show, like, the strength of schedule there is, like, very favorable.
Yeah. Wild.
So they are saying that, I don't know if they're working on an extension for Tua. They're saying Tua is going to be the quarterback in the future. They had a good season. They were a good team. They were a fun team to watch when they were playing dog shit teams.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Tua, personally.
I wasn't either, because remember when we were talking about that, when he came out, Washington had passed on him.
Yep.
Was it his hip? What was his problem?
His hip,
coming out.
Surgery,
hip.
Yeah.
I'm not fully sold on him, but they are fun to watch. I'll give him that. I don't know what for some reason, they just couldn't get over the hump of beating teams over 500.
Yeah.
They were fun to watch.
Tua doesn't do it for me, and he's also one concussion away from being out forever. I don't know, just watching. So we watched, I don't know about you, but I watched the Sunday Night Football game against the Bills at home for Miami. That was essentially a division winner. They lost.
Yep.
And the playoff game against the Chiefs didn't look great. I know it was like 3 degrees, but still, a lot of missed passes, interceptions. I mean, McDaniel seems to be a pretty decent coach, which is pretty neat. So they got that going for him. But I have never been sold on Tua. I've never been sold on Alabama quarterbacks in general. So the fact that him, Jalen, who was kind of a Oklahoma quarterback, and then of course everyone's favorite, Mac Jones. I've just never been sold. McCarron, I think, was Alabama. I've never been sold on the Alabama quarterbacks.
That's fair. Well, you feel that way about USC too.
Yeah, we mentioned that before. Yeah,
I think like Carson Palmer is probably
the only one, and
the best.
Yep,
like
I would say so
in recent memory.
And Matt Castle, who never even started a game for him.
Right, he had that one season when Brady was hurt, but
yeah, and that's part of the reason I'm not a fan of Caleb Williams. I mean, it's different coaching and stuff, which I get, but I don't know. I don't. Like I said, Jalen. But then you see Jalen Hurts. Everyone's like, "Oh wait, he's the exception." But then he had that year this year. You know? So
yeah. Well, Jalen came on again. We talk about this too. Every good quarterback, every talented guy needs talented weapons around him.
Yep.
So when he got AJ Brown, things changed.
And when he lost AJ Brown,
and then he lost AJ Brown. It's like he had Devontae Smith.
Yep.
Who was good, but he needed somebody else.
Yeah, same thing with the Dolphins with Waddle. Good number 2.
Right. You need a good 1-2 punch for any decent quarterback. You're gonna need guys to throw the ball to.
You need at least a 1A. You need something.
Yeah.
Anything.
Well, you guys have
nothing. And that was we talked about during the season. Devontae Parker was the number 1 for all those years.
Yeah.
And then they trade him to the Patriots. He's just like Gesicki. He's just like a runoff. Like why?
He's
our number 1. They kicked him
he's a throwaway.
Yeah, exactly. We're just picking up trash now,
basically.
So bunch of trash.
So
prediction for next year. More the same.
I know. So far, the first 2 teams I feel like are going to have very similar paths. I could see the Dolphins not being as good as they were this year.
Yeah, I could see that.
Where they lose a couple more games.
Yeah, they were quite dejected by the end of that year. I could see them falling out of the playoffs, especially if Aaron Rodgers comes back healthy, rolling into the next team, the New York Jets. Although it's amazing. It's amazing that this gentleman can get injured in the third play of the season, and it just never goes away. He's just there all year, and all these stories are coming out.
Which one?
Aaron Rodgers. All these stories came out about drama behind the scenes between him.
Oh, and the Jets.
Yeah, Saleh.
But I mean, sorry.
Oh my,
that was right into my own face. I apologize to myself. You kind of have to know that going into the Jets organization, though. Like, I know that this seemed like the perfect marriage, but did it, though? Like, he was so set on going to the Jets, and it's like, dog, they're the Jets, and they are very much a mirror image of Washington in the AFC, I think. Yeah. So it's like, that's actually throwing shade at the Jets because they finished 7-10, but like.
Now, my memory of when Tom Brady got injured in 2008, before his knee exploded. You never saw him again, right? Never. He was gone that until I don't know what he was. I'm assuming he was getting treatment somewhere. But I remember back in there was like concern over he had surgery, and then there was I think there might have been an infection, so there was concern. But he was never on the sideline. I don't remember.
He didn't support his team.
Not at all. Hated him. But he was just gone. He was not a distraction. He was just gone. Who knows where he was?
Yeah.
But Rodgers was never gone. He was always right there.
He's looming.
Yeah,
he wants
always.
people to know.
Yeah, pretending like he might come back. Oh, he's gonna talk to the doctor. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that just didn't. It didn't seem like it. Just wouldn't be. That was like when the Cowboys rushed back Tony Romo and he broke his collarbone immediately. It's like, and this season they weren't gonna fucking make the playoffs anyway.
Yeah, if he is back healthy and they do something to shore up that offensive line, like trade up for Joe Alt.
Yeah,
I can see them making a run for the playoffs. And knocking out the Dolphins
with the Zach Wilson led team. Trevor Siemian and then Boyle. Who's it? Tim Boyle?
Oh my god, yeah, Tim Boyle had that amazing college career. Yeah,
and they still finished 7-10. They finished 3 games higher than New England and Washington. So Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys where you come in if that's a 10-7 next year. The Dolphins might not make it as far as they did. Yeah. You might be getting that wild card spot.
I'm guessing one of those, or maybe 2 of those losses came against the Dolphins, which I honestly don't know. But yeah, I could easily see them flipping next year, especially if the defense stays. But who knows? It seems like Saleh is not going anywhere. So
at least for a year.
Yeah, but they definitely need to fix that offensive line because Aaron Rodgers played 3 downs and got.
Yeah,
rushed every single one of them. So
not great.
So yeah, I could see it happen.
Not great. So finally a team we think might be looking on the up and up in 2024.
Yeah, I can see them flip. And in the Dolphins, in a normal year, the beat bad teams, lose to good teams. They would have been a 3rd place team if the Jets were not. If they weren't missing their starting quarterback. Yeah. And also if they maybe took their backup position seriously, then just throw Zach Wilson back out there. Look what Joe Flacco did, who they had on their roster last year.
I know. That's just the ultimate Jet move.
Yep, sure is. All right. Skipping over the New England Pat Riots, who we'll get to a little bit later. We jump over to the AFC North, which is always a fight. I mean, even this year was a fight. I mean, the last place team was 9-8. That wins some divisions.
Yeah, especially in the NFC. That wins some divisions.
Yeah. So starting with the Baltimore Ravens, who won the division 13-4. It all comes down to Lamar. The defense is good. They are losing, but right, they're losing their defensive coordinator.
They lost their defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Yeah,
Not their offensive coordinator though, right?
no, I don't think so.
Okay, so that's a big thing. I don't think any AFC East team is losing a coach. Well, the Patriots, obviously, but I don't think so. That's a big to do because that's a good defense. They're losing that.
I think they're promoting from within.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it really comes down to Lamar, and the weird thing I saw, and this was after we had talked about the game against the Chiefs, is they ran it 11 times
in that game.
Yeah, against one of the worst ranked defenses. So, not great.
I know they're a fun team to watch. Again, I think that they're a better team than the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. I think that they just had a bad fucking game.
Yeah,
yeah, it's shitty because Lamar had a great season. They just had a shitty fucking game.
Yeah. And all year long we said they were like sneaky good. They never really were on our radar.
Yeah,
maybe that's why, because they just when it mattered, the
13-4 though. It's
I know they smoked the 49ers. They destroyed them. They beat the Dolphins by like a million. So yeah, it's weird.
I think it's going to be tough for them to come back and be another 13-4 team, but I think they're still a playoff team though.
Yeah,
but the caveat here is Joe B.
It's true
to that division.
That's true. Yep. I mean, 3 of the 4 teams in this division lost their starting quarterback.
Because it's funny looking at these records, even like the Jets 7-10. The Steelers on their third 10-7. Yeah. Like, granted, we knew that they probably weren't going to make it past that first game, but like still.
Yeah, I mean the Browns were on their 3rd quarterback, 4th. JSN was there.
Yeah,
not JSN. Excuse me. What was that gentleman's the rookie's name? It was one of those weird.
They had 4 different starting quarterbacks this season.
So it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild that all these teams finish over 500. Going next to the Cleveland Browns, like I just said, they're on the 4 quarterbacks. They fired their offensive coordinator, who came to the Patriots, which we'll get to in a little bit, which is interesting because he was their quarterbacks coach / offensive coordinator, but Stefanski called the plays. Mm-hmm. But he made it work with 4 quarterbacks, you know. But Deshaun's coming back, and the reports were the Browns ownership, because their wagon is hitched to Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, they have to be.
They said they weren't impressed or happy with his progress. So similar like how the Ravens go like Lamar, Browns are going to be all about Watson because they're paying him a lot of money.
He got a huge contract for not his last season in Houston, because we talked about this. His last season in Houston, he was suspended. The season before that was the season where everybody was going nuts. He had a great season because remember they were talking about the Jets, Washington. Mm-hmm. It was like the sweepstakes for Deshaun. One season. He wasn't a bad quarterback, but that one season he went off. He got a monster contract because of one season.
Yeah, and it's so weird. I mean, his only playoff was they took the lead. They were up like 24-0 against the Chiefs and lost. I know. He had a good season. You're right. It was one good season. And then people forget how big of a deal it is when you miss an entire season.
Oh, yeah.
Just practice, the game, the speed. You see it in basketball all the time, like the Gordon Haywards of the world. They miss a season, and it takes a while for them to get back up to speed. The game, it just changes. It changes on you.
And he missed most of this season.
Yeah. Another one,
I don't know.
Yep.
Not saying he's a bad quarterback. I don't know if the Browns come back at 11-6. I think that's like my theme here. Is I think a lot of teams are not going to be repeating on their good seasons.
Yeah, I think that was pretty fluky. Their success with Joe Flacco coming off the streets, because if Joe Flacco didn't save them, they would have been probably like the Bengals or Steelers were. But the defense is really good. They're 8-1 at home. If they keep the defense, sure. But the other thing is too, if they're gonna, it changes from year to year. But now they have to play like a second place schedule. So, like, one nice thing is the Patriots, they'll be able to play a last place schedule. So they play teams that could be bad again, but it's better than when you have to play division winners every single week. So they have that going for them. But if you have a good defense, you can have a successful year, no matter how bad your offense is. Well, that's not entirely true, but you can have a better chance at a successful season if you have a good defense.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, like, their net points were 34. The Patriots was negative 130. So they were almost even, and all these teams 34. The Steelers were negative 20, and the Bengals were negative 18, and they all went over 500.
Yeah.
So the defense kept them in it. It looks like.
One thing I'm looking at too is teams that had an away record over 500. The Ravens, the Jaguars, the Colts, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Lions, Vikings,
Steelers are in there too.
Tampa, and the Niners. And a lot of those teams are like one game over 500. So, like, what I would consider a good away record would be like 2 wins over 500, which is even slimmer. You're looking at the Niners. You're looking at the Niners, the Lions, the Chiefs,
and the Steelers,
and Ravens. So it's like I never really looked at this before, but it seems like not a lot of teams aren't playing good on the road.
Home field advantage is a real thing.
God, I mean,
and the Ravens are better on the road than at home. And
so is New England technically.
Yeah, they sure were. God,
and Washington was too, 3-6 on the road, 1-7 at home.
Woof, 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 woof. Yeah, so you got to be good on the road. And one of those teams coming up next, the Pittsburgh Steelers, on their third quarterback. I said all year that they were not a fluke, but they were they weren't a real good team. They were in the negative score differential for the longest time, and they had like a good record. And then, I mean, good on Mason Rudolph coming in and winning 3 or 4. What do you do? 3 games in a row to win to get them in the playoffs. But I just knew that they were gonna. It was the fastest bounce out of the playoffs for a 7 seed.
You just kind of knew, but even look at their division record, 5-1. Yeah. They had the best division record in that division.
They did. Yeah, they beat the Steelers, Ravens early on, I think, when Pickett was still around.
Yeah.
So that's a tough division. It's always a mud fight.
That's their biggest question is going to be quarterback. I know they're talking about Pickett and Mason, and I don't know. I think if they got like a stellar quarterback, them putting out a 10-7 season this year, if they had actually like a stellar quarterback,
like, do you think you're starting the season with a Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph quarterback competition? You're probably not going anywhere.
Yeah, like Mitch, right? Mitch is the third.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's gone. He's got to be. But with Rudolph too, it's like, do you really think he's good now? He
wasn't good in that playoff game.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just he just didn't have it.
Yeah, he had those couple good games where he came off. People weren't prepared for him, and he threw a good couple games together. Good for him, but I don't think he's the answer long term for sure.
No, sir.
Not much more to say about them, honestly. Nope. A lot of these teams, a lot of the defense comes in, and the Bengals, it comes down to Burrow. And you've said it before. I think he might be starting to get a little injury prone. He has had how many different injuries now? He started the season with an injury, ended the season with an injury.
Yeah. And like you said, they're all different injuries.
I know.
That's what's crazy.
His only truly healthy season, they went to the Super Bowl.
and that's why, like, when he's there, he's a difference maker. I just looking at it like that offensive line is a problem. He's always hurt. This is his like 4th injury in a few years.
Yeah. And it stinks when your quarterback goes down and you're just like, well, there goes the season.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they have the weapons. Curious to see what happens with Higgins. My guess is they'll either franchise him, for maybe that tag and trade or something like that. But they have the weapons on offense between him, Mixon, Jamar to do stuff. But
if not Higgins, if Higgins leaves, they're gonna have to find somebody else as that 1A number 2.
Yep. And a lot of this I think will come down to the draft too, because I think I said it last week. This is a very deep class at wide receiver. So a lot of these teams could reload. They could load back up. The Bengals could grab another wide receiver dog. Really curious to see how that shakes out. So
samesies.
Yeah. themesies. Jumping over to the AFC South. We got starting with the Houston Texans, who came storming in to win it at the last week of the season at 10-7. I think we're looking at the next really good team in the AFC.
Listen, all about the Texans.
Yep.
CJ had a great year. D'Amico's first year as a coach.
Yep.
Dell was also a rookie.
Yep.
Would they get 5th round?
5th round, I think, yeah.
They have all the makings to be, if not 10-7 next year, better.
Yeah, and they have all the Browns picks for like the next 2 years. They have all their picks.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a team like Houston get over that hump, unless they're playing Washington in the Super Bowl. Then they can get fucked. But no, I like it. I think that they're, like you said, they're building. They're going to be the next wave of a good competitor in that conference.
They got the quarterback. Now it's just like, oof, man, what could they do with those two? They have 2 picks in the first round. Could they trade up? Could they snag a monster like a? I'm not saying they're going to trade up for Marvin Harrison Jr., but hey, maybe. Why not? There's a lot of movement there. I don't know where they're picked. I mean, the only problem, which isn't really a problem for making the playoffs, is that their draft, they have a lower draft pick now.
Fair.
But they they won in the playoff, and then they won in the playoffs. So
right.
They
had
really
a playoff win.
Yeah, that was a good run. They did lose their offensive. No, he went back. Their offensive coordinator.
Bobby Slowick stayed.
Yeah, he stayed.
A lot of
coordinators staying around.
We got to talk about
that.
that.
Wonder if he left him at the altar.
You know why they re-signed him?
Slowick.
Because he was most likely going to get an offer from Washington once Ben Johnson stayed. So the Texans knew Bobby could get. So they extended him and they gave him a raise.
I'm telling you, though, the other thing is, too, everybody's just fighting for that Cowboys job.
It seems like, you know what? If that's your play, what?
You don't want him?
Fuck you. If that's your play, and we'll get into it, but like if that's your play, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
No way, Bill Belichick. You're not taking that Cowboys job. Yeah, so they got a lot of nice young pieces. I think not only they could be challenging for the bye next year. They could be. Mm-hmm. They certainly could be. So that's my prediction for them. My prediction for the Jacksonville Jaguars is they're in trouble. They finished the season at 1-4. Big, if not biggest, choke job of the season between them and the Eagles.
I don't think they recover next season.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, too.
I think it's going to be like a fucking 5 and
a
5-12.
It's going to be a big drop, big drop.
And then they're going to have a serious question about Trevor.
I know.
That's going to be
people
the big
were
thing.
Convinced he was that next can't miss prospect. I never saw it. And I actually did watch a good number of Clemson games because my buddy was a big Clemson fan, and I watched them. And I would never tell him this. I never say it to his face, but I never saw it. I know he's watched some of this before this show, so I hope he catches this one.
When he was coming out, they were. I don't know if they've hyped up a quarterback as much coming out.
That was me. Since Andrew Luck, I feel like he got the most hype.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like he was a rookie. He was a freshman, a true freshman playing, and people were like already talking about him. Like he was the next big thing.
Excuse me. He was one. It was that Zach at 2 with the Jets.
Yes, and then Trey Lance.
Yep.
And then Justin Fields.
That's a weak
McCorkle Jones. I know people were comparing it to like the 1984 class with like Marino and Elway.
Yeah, I think Fields is your best bet so far in those top picks.
Yeah, and he's not even gonna keep his job.
Nope.
Probably.
He's most likely getting traded. Would you take him?
Yeah.
A little hesitation there.
I think I would.
I mean, you have fucking Mac and Zappy. I would take.
Rice. Yes. Yeah. God damn it! Do not put those two people.
He had to close his eyes for this one.
I know. My patience was tested as a human. And you know what? We watched the Boston Celtics lose 17 games in a row. Okay, let's not get it twisted. 18 games in a row, excuse me. 18 games, we watched them. And even that was more enjoyable than watching the New England Patriots this year. That was bad. Bad.
Welcome to my life.
It's like the you guys have had your quarterbacks, the Campbells, the Dwayne Haskins of the world. Have you ever had a quarterback room where you put a quarterback in and then you replace him with just the exact same quarterback?
I mean, there was the Spurrier year, the fun and gun offense, where we went with Shane Matthews, Danny Warfel, and there was a third one. He just had a carousel.
Ramsey? Not Ramsey.
Ramsey was there. He might have been there. He might have been the third one. They just had a carousel. Like, who's starting this week?
Well, I do remember that fun and gun run offense. Yeah.
2003?
It was like...
No. No, it was earlier than that. We were in middle school.
We were. That was... No, you're right.
It was 2001, 2002. I think it was maybe 2001.
Definitely 2000s.
2002, 2001.
Oh, this is a Washington Post article from 2003.
Maybe it was then. I thought we were in 8th grade. Well, actually, we started 7th grade. We started 9th grade in 2002. So I don't know. 2001, 2002.
I don't know. I'm just trying to find out who the other quarterback was.
It was, yeah, look up the roster. It was Shane Matthews, Danny Warfel, and maybe it was Ramsey, I think, came out later.
I know.
Maybe it was Ramsey. I don't remember.
Was it Matthews?
But it was not fun. And there was no gun. That's all I fucking remember.
Oh, man. Redskins, 3 QBs. And
You just, if you find that Spurrier season and just look that roster up, I'm sure it's...
I'm trying to find. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure. Like, what do I Google? Like, how do I Google this? Hold on. Here we go.
I have no idea what my phone is.
Yep. Here it goes. 2002. Shane Matthews, Patrick Ramsey, Danny Werfel. So I got the one. I did get the Ramsey.
The carousel.
Wow.
Well, Patrick Ramsey. I know now we're going on a tangent.
I like it. Let's go do it. Do it.
Patrick Ramsey was the first. No. Oh God, he was not the first. Wait. All right. So. I was about to say he's the first wave of like our franchise guy.
Yeah.
Since the Super Bowls.
Right.
But it wasn't because before that it was oh my God.
Tony Banks. Jeff George.
No.
Gus Frerotte.
No. Gus Frerotte was actually not bad.
Yeah.
No.
I remember Gus Frerotte, I remember beat the New England Patriots. I remember watching that game with my father. This was like obviously years ago. This must have been 98. Before I even met you, I think. I remember that game. He's the guy that headbutt the wall, too, right? Yeah. Okay. He won a Super Bowl.
No, it was Heath Schuler was the first wave.
Heath Schuler,
he's the guy. It's going to be our guy. Then it was probably, I'm saying a guy that we drafted, not because we had Brad Johnson, we had Gus Frerotte.
Yeah.
Gus Frerotte, I think, came from Minnesota. Then it was Patrick Ramsey. Then it was... Then it was Jason Campbell. Then it was RG3. Then it was Kirk. Then it was Dwayne Haskins. Like, these have all been guys that we drafted that were going to be our franchise guy.
Yep. The one guy you actually drafted, you let him go. Kirk Cousins. I know you're not sold on the Kirk Cousins, but he has now been a professional football league starter for going on 10 years.
I will say that he has probably been he's been the most successful quarterback that we've had.
Yeah.
That's no shot at RG3 because his rookie season was fun.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I had him.
If it wasn't for that,
it was amazing.
Fucking injury.
Yep. So that we were in middle school. I think we were in like 7th or 8th grade.
Oh, yeah, it's like 8th. Yeah.
Yeah. Throwback. Oof. Fun and gun. Not so fun.
It was no fun and there was no gun.
Woof. Oh man. How'd we get here?
I don't know. Where are we at? The Colts?
The Jaguars. We can go back and go into the Colts. Sorry, Jags. Yeah, we'll agree. You're looking at 5-11 next year. The Colts, I'm looking at Anthony Richardson's coming back. Not Anthony Richardson. What's this dude's name? AR, the quarterback who got 3
How
injuries.
did you not? That's right.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson. Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of the running back. I'm thinking of Trent Richardson. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no.
Anthony Richardson, because I know AR they're calling him, but he had 3. I said this from the beginning of the season, 3 injuries in 3 weeks, 3 different injuries. Stop. Just slow down, dude. He was looking good.
No, he was.
He was looking good. And his boy that backed him up, Minshew, best backup quarterback in the league, Pro Bowl.
Yeah, Pro Bowl
player in the flag football game that we watched.
That's right.
Minshew really threw down. He almost dragged them. Or he did drag. No. Sorry, he almost dragged them to the playoffs.
There was games in that season that they should have won.
Yeah.
I would say you might be looking at a repeat 9-8.
Yeah.
Which is not a shot.
Yeah.
They could be better.
Yeah, they had the coach. Some people thought the coach of the year coming from the Eagles. If they beat the Texans last game of the season, they were driving at the end there. They won that division.
Yeah.
So
there was games that they lost that they shouldn't have. So I think the future is bright in Indy, I think.
Yeah, I'm just not sold on Richardson. one of the big things is, he like shot up draft boards last year, and people were saying he has no accuracy. I don't know how this dude's getting drafted in the top 5. He played pretty well the first few games because he ran like a mother, but then he almost killed himself. So,
but see, this is the shit that I don't fucking get. It's like people will from this team will see something spectacular, and then other people will be like, "The fuck are you looking at?"
Yeah,
and it's like somebody's got to be right.
Sure. The thing I did is I went to when this was all happening, because I was like, oh, mate, well, I didn't think the Patriots would, but I was just curious. I went to like the Florida Gators like subreddit, like to read what the fans were saying, and people were like, they didn't even get it. Some of them didn't even get, like, this dude has no accuracy. I guess you can teach it. So, but my concern with these guys like this is they rely on their legs, and then they get injured. So if he can put all the pieces together, maybe, but we'll see.
People are saying about every quarterback that's coming out this year. It's like there's some people that are like, oh, he's great. He's the next wave. And then it's like, he sucks. He's terrible. It's like nobody fucking knows.
The draft is always typically, yes. The draft is usually a crapshoot. However, if the 49ers win the Super Bowl, Purdy will be the first quarterback drafted, I think, in like the modern era, the 7th round or later, undrafted, to win a Super Bowl. And Brady being the the exception to the rule. Typically, every other quarterback in the playoffs was like a first round quarterback, except for Jalen Hurts, who's a second round quarterback.
Right, you're looking at 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So, but in that, it's going to be a 50% chance that they're going to work or they're not going to work.
Yeah, and that draft is typically a crapshoot.
Washington seems to continue to strike out. Honestly, their best hit was Kirk, and Kirk was round 4.
Yeah,
I think
you're right. Yeah,
so,
yep. I mean, if you look at all the division winners, 49ers, 7th rounder, Buccaneers, #1 overall pick, Detroit Lions, #1 overall pick, Dallas Cowboys, 4th rounder, Kansas City Chiefs, 10th overall, Texans, 2nd overall, Ravens, 32nd overall. I think technically he was a 2nd rounder, but it was because the Patriots lost their draft pick. Buffalo Bills, top 10 quarterback. So,
right,
just saying. Right. But
Joe B too.
Yeah, Joe Burrow, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see, Colts. This might be one that we disagree on. I think they might go down. You think they might go up? Or you think they're right in the middle?
I think they're going to be another 9 and 8 year, if not better.
One team I think is going to stay where they are or get worse is the Tennessee Titans.
They're going to get worse.
I don't even know who the coach is. I forget.
Oh, my God.
It's not Vrabel. He's
not Vrabel. Who did they? Wow.
I don't know.
This is...
God, what have you done?
We are ill prepared for this.
It is Brian Callahan, son of Bill Callahan.
Bitch. Okay.
He has Will Levi genes. He needs to.
I can't imagine that they're going to be better. I think they're going to be worse.
I think so too.
I think that even though Vrabel maybe it was time to move on from Vrabel, I think that the team that he put together to get 6-11, I think goes fucking...
Yeah, I just remember he was pissed when they traded Brown, and look what happened.
Yep.
So maybe they should have listened to him. That is weird.
Another guy who doesn't have a job right now.
No, yeah, right? That's true. Bill Callahan, former head coach, Super Bowl. He took a team to the Super Bowl, the Raiders, and then got trounced by the Bucs, but he's their offensive line coach. That's his son. So he's got the pedigree at least. But, yeah, I see them getting worse.
I think 2024 they get worse.
Derrick Henry is another year older. Not happening.
Yeah, they're going to get worse.
Yep. Going into the AFC West, we've got the Kansas City Chiefs, 11-6. More of the same for them. I mean, they had like a down year, and they're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It really depends what happens with Andy Reid. I know there's talks about him retiring potentially, but if you have such a good team, why would you? Kelsey is getting older. But the rest of the division is... I don't want to say the rest of the division is dog shit because they just beat up on them all the time, but that's what happens when you have a good team at the top. You just beat up the rest of the division. So I can see them doing...
They also have... I mean, that division is dog shit, period.
When you have the best quarterback in the league, you win a lot of games.
You do. Yep. It's hard to say that they'll get better because they could potentially... win the Super Bowl again.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know if they'll get better. I do think it's interesting that with somewhat of a limited cast, because throughout the season, they did not have a good regular season, I would say.
Yep.
It was okay. They finished well. which is saying something for an 11 and 16. But they had the most dropped balls of any team in the league.
I'm going to say they're not going back to the Super Bowl next year. I'll say that.
Hot take.
Because no team has ever won it 3 times in a row. And only one team has lost the Super Bowl and then won the Super Bowl the next year. Patriots. So that's my hot take.
Okay. Do you think they make the playoffs in that division?
Yes,
I mean, you got Mahomes.
Yeah. Yep.
It'll be interesting. I don't really have much on the Chiefs. I mean, they're back at it again. I don't know.
Yep.
I think if they got like a weapon, not just a Kelsey, but if they got like a stud wide receiver. I mean, when you lost Tyree, granted, they haven't really lost a step. They had the most drop balls. They could have been even better.
Yeah, Rice is pretty good. They get another guy in there to compliment him. Yeah, I can see it. Oops, sorry.
Is your phone talking to us?
Yeah, it's my...
What did it say?
It was my son used to say, yup, and he'd go, yup. That's how I know it's Jessica.
Does she have a hot take for us while we're going through these?
I will text it. We might have to do the NFC next week. We're pushing it.
We're pushing it a little bit, yeah. I guess so.
So, yeah, that's the Chiefs for you. I'll see if we have a hot take. Las Vegas Raiders. I could see them being worse next year.
They desperately need a quarterback.
Yeah.
And Jimmy is not the answer. They had Aiden O'Connell. I like Pierce as the coach though. They rallied around him. A lot of guys wanted him.
Yeah, I could see him be. I mean, I don't know if he has like an assistant coming in or whatever, but I can see him being in over his head for a full season.
Sure.
So hopefully he brings in a little bit of firepower to help him out with that. But they did rally around him, that's for sure.
They just
guys like ex-players. They like them, just like people love Mayo. The players love Mayo, I should say, because he played. They get it. They get it. Yeah,
but they're wasting Devontae Adams' talent on that fucking team.
It's so sad.
Jacobs, they need a fucking quarterback.
Yep.
And Jimmy's he's always hurt and he's not that good.
Jimmy's not the answer. He's not the answer. Yeah. So I can see them being right where they are now.
Depending on the quarterback situation,
yeah,
I think they could get worse next year.
Yep. Denver Broncos, same exact spot. No quarterback.
Nope.
No hope. No. They have a coach who people tell me is good, but I don't really believe him.
Still don't see it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. What are they going to do at quarterback next year? They have no quarterback.
They've now said that they might keep Russ.
Really?
They are a team that is the way they started off the season. They blew an 18-point lead to Washington. They got blown out 70-20 to Miami.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They finished 8-9. They finished better. I mean, we had them buried a long time ago.
Yeah, the Patriots essentially knocked them out of the playoffs in that Christmas Eve game.
And for whatever reason, contract or not, injury or not, the hot take. It came true. They benched Russ.
Another friend of the show, the Denver Broncos, because we rode that one all year long. I want to say they're a quarterback away. That's not Russell Wilson, I guess. But we kept saying he had the raw numbers, but people again people that watch the game regularly, they're like, no, he's not doing it for us. He's not. I'm like, I'll take your word for it because I don't watch enough of their games.
Yeah,
I know in the Patriots game he didn't do anything that special.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can see them being worse. They have the best home field advantage, being a mile high. So that's always a boon for them. But on the defense, I want to say the defense is pretty good, but looking at the points against the year was not very good.
Well, I mean, take 70 off.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah.
Yikes.
So, yeah, it's all about quarterback. A lot of teams need quarterbacks. That's why this is going to be a really interesting draft because I feel like a lot of quarterbacks are going to go.
Yep.
One team that has a quarterback and now has a new head coach, the Los Angeles Chargers. They got Herbie fully loaded. He had a couple injuries last year. Eckler took a deep dive. He was, running backs age like dogs, 7 years,
We expected that.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Keenan Allen got hurt this year, too.
Yeah.
He missed at least one or two games.
I don't remember when Harbaugh took over the 49ers if they got good immediately. I'm thinking like the Chargers might not be that good next year, but the year after, because he's a good guy that builds programs. Is that what I say?
Programs.
He builds a good program.
Good program. And it's funny because he was like, I don't know where else he interviewed, but he was dead set on the Chargers job. So,
I mean, they always say like they're, that's such a good spot for a guy to land. Such a good spot. Such a good spot.
It'd be nice to see them. They have talent on that team. It'd be nice. I think they do better next year. They're 5-12.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yes, they'll do better. It always. And I'm just gonna say, I'm not even taking health into consideration. Like, if any starting quarterback goes down, the team's probably gonna be worse next year. But let's just assume Herbie plays a full healthy season. They'll be better.
I think they'll be better, especially with a guy like Harbaugh. It may take a couple seasons, 2-3, to get them like competitive. But I think they'll be better than 5-12 next year.
Yeah, I mean, let's see here. He took over San Diego in the Pioneer Football League, and within 3 years won whatever championship they had. What the hell is that, Pioneer Football League? And then he took over. What is this?
Just skip to
it's
like
a collegiate conference. Oh, it is okay. No, they're FCS. Oh, so like Division 2-ish.
Okay.
And he won within 2 years. He won the whole thing. And then Stanford, he took over within 4 years, had them win the Orange Bowl, which was a BCS bowl back in the day. Took over at Michigan, and then he had them win the national championship. Oh God, it took him a little while. It took about 8 years
for the Michigan.
Yeah, but he went to the championship game in his 4th year.
Yeah, college is tough anyway.
Yeah.
You got new blood.
But it's like
all the time.
Yeah, his first year in the 49ers, he went 13-3. Boom. He did not have a losing season with the 49ers in 4 years. He went 8-8 his last year. But like Stanford wins a BCS bowl, San Diego wins their championship, Michigan goes to the championship within 4 years, wins it within 7. The dude just wins as a coach.
Yeah.
He's won wherever he's gone.
When he left the Niners, he didn't get fired, right? He quit. He resigned.
It was a weird thing. Him and Jed York, they were,
Fire York.
That's right, yeah. Jed finally stepped away and let like the football people take over, and that's when they finally started succeeding.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I think they're going to be better. But yeah, he just wins. Give him a couple of years, and he'll have him deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be good for the Chargers anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
So I guess due to the time, let's run through the Patriots, and then we'll make some final predictions, and then next week we'll do a little recap, and we'll touch on the NFC.
Okay.
You
want to do the Redskins tier 2, or do you want to do that next week?
We'll do it next week.
Oh, okay. Are you sure?
Yeah, we'll listen to all AFC this week. The AFC predictions.
It actually worked out well. New England Patriots, 4-13. Worst season in a very long time. First time they've gone under 500. Well, they went 7-9 in the COVID year.
Yep.
But really under 500 since like 2000.
Yep.
Lost their head coach. They're pretty much just like pulling it down from the studs. Starting quarterback's gone. Head coach is gone. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, like everything. Literally everything. We talked about it all throughout the season. I thought Belichick was going to stay a little bit. I was like waffling back and forth, and then I could kind of see why they I could see why they went their separate ways. It was just throughout the season, like there was just so much drama between like the coaching staff and the players, and he was just gone. It's gone. Sometimes you just lose it.
Yeah.
You just lose it, and you just got to go your separate ways. Andy Reid did it in the Eagles. It happens.
I think it's we talked about it all season because it was like the defense was competitive. They were actually really good. They lost 3 games in a row, giving up only 10 points.
It's like the 1920s, whatever that was.
Which is ridiculous. And you kept saying like one more shot so he can prove, like get the offense right.
Yep.
But then it's also like from the fans' standpoint, Brady's long gone at this point. Do you just say, hey, that was our run and just fucking clean slate?
The more I talked about it on this show, the more I realized, we needed a clean slate, because I think I was on here when I was talking about how, do I even trust him to get the right offensive pieces in place? He hasn't drafted a good wide receiver since Malcolm Mitchell, who was done after a year because of injury. And I like made myself angry thinking back to like the strange pick, the right guard at 27 or whatever it was. When there was tons of dudes on the board, missing on numerous wide receivers, and then last year was the kind of the nail in the coffin where he didn't draft an offensive player until the 5th round, and that offensive player was a backup center. It was like, what the fudge are we doing here?
the old adage is defense wins championships, but you also need to have an offense to get you to that championship.
Yeah, it's just and I still agree to that. I still agree in all aspects of sport. Defense wins championships.
Sure.
But you see it in the NBA, you see it in the NFL. It's a different league. It's different.
You gotta have the offense. I think when it comes down to like the championship games and the Super Bowl, the defense is that's gonna win you that, but you need the offense to get you there.
Look at the Chiefs. That's what won that championship game, the AFC championship game. His time just ran out. I think his philosophy just didn't translate into the super modern game. Like he just wouldn't change. The coach stuff was weird and stuff got weird between him and Kraft, and it was just weird, man. It's
just time, and especially like when you get a lot of new players and stuff, you don't have that steady quarterback to be like,
right? Hey
guys, trust like your leader, trust the process.
He, in my opinion, Mac didn't do himself any favors with like his sulking and kind of like his, oh man, but they ruined that kid. 4 offensive coordinators in 4 years, 3, the Matt Patricia experience, like Nick Caley, who was interviewing for the offensive coordinator job. Again, he's now the tight ends coach with the Rams. He was the tight ends coach with the Patriots. He never called plays before, but at least he'd coach on offense. Matt Patricia, you're just making it. It was so weird.
Just trying to bring your boy in to do like and something he doesn't do.
Everyone knows wherever he goes, Belichick, if he got a job, which he didn't, maybe that because he wants probably full control. He's bringing him with him. He's bringing McDaniels with him.
We've seen this before.
Yeah,
we've seen it before.
Yeah,
and his age is against him. If you're a team like the Cowboys and you just need to get over that hump, if McCarthy got fired, I could see it happening.
Yeah, if it was 10 years ago, he'd get snatched up in a second. I suspect the Cowboys reached out to him, but he's one of those guys like there's a coach's code. He's like, if you have an opening, call me.
Yeah,
you don't. You have a coach. I'm not going to talk to you. I could see that. I could totally see that with Belichick. I mean, I'm basing that off of nothing, but just like you know how these things go. But hey, out with the old and with the new. It's exciting because everything's new.
Yeah, right.
So new. As long as Kraft is there, although I'm not a huge fan of Jonathan Kraft. Hopefully Bob Kraft has, he learned from the initial stuff with Parcells and Carroll and stuff. He even said when he hired Mayo, he went against his instinct. When they fired Bill Parcells, he wanted Belichick. His instinct told him to go with Belichick, but because he was still a Parcells guy, he let him walk. It was so ugly, he let him go with him. Got Carroll, didn't work out. Then he finally brought Bill back. He's like, okay, I follow my instinct with Mayo. I want him. He is now my head coach. I do think he was supposed to get one more year of experience under his belt, but it didn't work out because we were so bad.
I mean, the only good thing is from what I've heard from Mayo was they're ready to spend money.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of cap space.
They do. They do. And if Kraft said he wants to spend, he said he wants to draft. And it's funny because he's more open than Bill. He said, we're going to draft a player, the best player at the most important position. He said, like, you do the math or something like that, which is pretty funny. So definitely going quarterback.
Well, they have the number 3 pick. There's options to trade up to 1. There's options to trade for maybe a Justin Fields if he becomes available.
Yep.
You got to figure if Chicago stays put, because they might move on from Fields. If they stay put at 1, even if they traded,
talk about sitting pretty. The world is their oyster.
But if they didn't trade with either Washington or New England, they traded with somebody else. The first 3 picks are all quarterbacks.
I know. The thing that makes me not upset, but the thing that annoys me is like this of all years, it's going quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's like quarterback. We literally have the option of taking the best player at the other position, any other position. The best player on the board. We could take the best lineman. We could take the best cornerback. We could take the best wide receiver. But they're going to have to take quarterback because that's how you need to start.
Yeah, you have to. You just don't have
part of
anything.
Me, I know how unsexy it is, but part of me would take Joe Alt, that left tackle. Part of me says take him. Part of me says you're nuts.
What do the rest of their picks look like?
They have a good number of them, but not, I don't know the exact count. Patriots.
You do want a cornerstone guy on your line.
The one quarterback I did watch a little bit of the Senior Bowl, but the one quarterback I wanted to watch pulled out at the last minute.
Who was it?
It was what the heck is his name? I had it here. Michael Penix.
Okay. Is Penix? Is he older?
He was the one that played for Washington. A lot of these guys, he's 23, but there are a lot of older quarterbacks. Like Bo Nix is like 26.
I think he's 24, 23, 24.
Bo
but there's two that are like 23, 24. I think it's Bo Nix and Penix.
You're right, 23. How old is Penix is 23.
Yeah.
But a lot of these guys have the extra year of eligibility because of COVID.
Yeah.
So some of them are pretty old. That's funny.
It'll be interesting because even if the first two picks go quarterback, then you have a chance to get Harrison Jr. Or they actually just said, I just saw they ranked a kid from LSU higher than Harrison Jr.
Who did?
I don't know. Somewhere, probably Bleacher, somewhere on Bleacher.
That's weird.
Which I don't know where these sources are.
I know, right?
They also said Washington didn't need a tight end. I'm like, you don't watch the games that they play, apparently.
Yeah, I would, and I might be one of the only people because I'm not, me, I'm not the sexiest person around. It's like I don't have to take the sexiest pick. You might disagree.
Don't talk so badly about yourself.
You might disagree, but like I would take a left tackle, like a cornerstone left tackle for the next 10 years. But like you said earlier, it's a 50-50 shot. He could be terrible. You don't know. It's a crapshoot.
It's just tough when you're, as of right now, because they could trade up to 1. Because if they trade up to 1, Chicago falls back 2, they could still get a quarterback and get somebody decent because they have like the number 9 or 10 pick. But it sucks if you don't, because then you're going to have to get the third best quarterback. Or not even third best, but like you're not going to be able to pick your guy.
Do I want the third best quarterback or do I want the first best anything else?
If you had like, and this isn't to throw shade, but if you guys had like fucking Baker or Gardner Minshew, right? Like maybe somebody that's like
a bridge quarterback. Yeah.
Then I would say, fuck it, bolster the line.
We got nothing.
You got nothing. You got nothing.
Baker's a free agent, but he's going back to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and that's. I wasn't even trying to shit on Baker.
I love Baker here.
The Tampa Bakers. I mean, come on. But if you guys even had a bridge, quarterback, I could say,
but we don't.
You just don't. You guys have nothing.
Yeah, we have a first round, second round, third round, fourth, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. We have one of each.
That's it. Well, I mean, that's actually good. You have one of each.
Yeah. That's weird. We usually have like an extra fourth or something in there. But yeah, please, just take the best player. I don't care. Just take a best player available.
See, I like the philosophy. We'll get into it when we do draft talk. Mm-hmm. I like best player available, not need, because if you need a tight end and that tight end is like, but you take, even if you have so many fucking stud linebackers, the best of it, you take another stud linebacker. You don't take the guy. You don't go on need. You go on best player.
Like that draft a couple of years ago. I asked you this question last week. I think it went Calvin Johnson went 2, Joe Thomas went 3.
Yeah,
both of those guys Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm.
How would I start a team? It would be with either left tackle or quarterback. But neither of them won anything either. But Calvin Johnson is just amazing. I mean, obviously he's amazing. He's a Hall of Famer. But like, it's tough. Do I want to take a Joe Alt, who has the trappings of being amazing? He also has the pedigree. His father played 12 seasons. Mm-hmm. Or do I want the sexy pick? We'll see.
I know you guys just.
We need everything. That's the problem.
I know your offense is so bad.
We scored the least amount of points in the league by far. Well, us and the Panthers, who, as you can tell, we're also terrible. Now, the other thing I will say is we have a new offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt, who I'm just going to call AVP from now on. He came from the Browns, who I mentioned earlier. He's had I like it because he's had experience with a lot of decent quarterbacks. When Baker was good. Not that he's not good anymore. We still love Baker. He was with Aaron Rodgers for a bit in Green Bay. You saw what he did with Joe Flacco. Mm-hmm. Hasn't called plays, but I also like him because he's older and he's like one of those guys who won't be gone after a year. Like he can kind of grow into the system, put his own stamp on it.
Right.
DeMarcus Covington for DC, he's kind of come up through the system. And Jeremy Springer with special teams. I think our special teams is ranked towards the bottom 2-3 years in a row. For the love of God, we need a new fucking coach. Ben Accord was terrible. Joe Judge came back. He was terrible, even though he used to be good. Don't know what happened there. And then Mayo was the head coach. I don't know. It's so weird because I remember watching him on Quick Slants a couple years ago on TV. He used to be on NBC Sports Boston with Tommy Curran. And it's hard to get that thought out of my head of him just being like the silly guy on TV. But the players love him. They used to call him the head coach on the field when he was a player. He's got a lot of smarts. I think if he has a good, similar to was it Pierce? Get like some guys around him who know the game, have coached before, get some support. I think they've been talking about like McAdoo coming in as an offensive coach.
Oh yeah,
but like not the head coach. People are like freaking out. It's like, no, he's not going to be the head coach. He knows, like, he's done it. He's been a good offensive coordinator.
Right.
Let him just help on the offensive side of the ball, and let him just help Mayo along.
Yeah.
And let him take care of the other stuff. So I'm excited. It's all brand new. Can't get much worse than 4-13.
You think they do better?
Oh, they're doing better.
I think they do better.
I think they do better.
I think they go 5-12.
Yeah, I can see it. We're doing better.
5-12.
We're doing it.
Well, that's our AFC roundup for the year that was 2023.
Yep.
Some predictions for 2024.
Yeah.
Now, we're right at the hour mark.
I know.
Final predictions. Do you have a hot take?
Oh, shit. Here, is this it? She just has a Super Bowl prediction. Oh, God, this is gross. Chiefs 17, 49ers 10.
Oh.
I know. Womp, womp. Wompity womp.
All right. What's your prediction? Your
For the
final prediction.
For the Super Bowl,
of the Super Bowl.
I have not wavered. Last week, I was leaning the Chiefs. At this point, I feel like it's inevitable. It's going to be the Chiefs. That's what I'm going with.
I'm not going to be surprised if they do. Mm-hmm. But I just would rather see the Niners. It's been 30 years.
I would rather see, you know me. I'd rather see it too.
But I wouldn't be surprised. They have the playoff and Super Bowl experience coaching players with Mahomes. It's a big stage for Purdy. If they play their game, to me, I don't know if I said this last week, but that game rests on the Niners defense.
Yeah. They were talking about how they weren't happy with how they performed with the Lions game, so
I think that's what. Well, again, the last two playoff, or their only two playoff games, they had to come from behind to win. Mm-hmm. You can't do that in the Super Bowl. You can't do that against the Chiefs.
Right.
I just don't think so.
Well, my last money pick of the season.
Chiefs
are 2-point underdogs, so I'm picking them.
Wow.
So I'm going with them to win. So I might as well go with them for my money pick.
And so that's interesting because it went up. It was a point and a half. Now it's 2.
2, yeah.
There's some shenanigans going on with practice fields, I heard. I don't know.
So, yeah, the Chiefs are at the Vegas Allegiant Stadium, which is like a palace.
Yeah.
I remember the Patriots went there for joint practices a couple of years ago, and Bill Belichick was like raving about it, how like the Taj Mahal of NFL practice fields and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it is brand new. And the 49ers are at UNLV's practice area, and it's terrible.
Yeah, they said, I don't know, something with the surface.
It's like soft.
Too soft.
Like that. Yeah.
You know what, though? Use that as motivation. Don't bitch. Use it as motivation. It's a big stage. Yeah. So your money pick?
Going with the Chiefs.
Going with the Chiefs.
So they probably will win. So I'll win that, and then if they don't win, maybe they'll push if they lose by 2 or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, this is the first time that it has to. First time that your money pick and the Joker pick compete against each other. I'm going with the 49ers. First Super Bowl win in 30 years.
I know. I'm hoping. But like last week, I went with my heart, and I went 0-2 in both games.
Me too.
So
listen,
this time I'm going to go with my brain.
I'm a sucker. It's Valentine's weekend almost.
That's right.
Well, it's going to be Valentine's weekend.
It's true.
I'm going with my heart. Mm-hmm. My heart says Purdy. Purdy. I got a Purdy heart. You got a Purdy mouth. Anyway, that is the Super Bowl prediction, the AFC rundown. Next week, we'll do our Super Bowl recap. We'll do the NFC year that was, some predictions, and then from there, we're at no man's land because
freeballing it.
Even the UFL don't start till the end of March. So we'll have some fun topics to talk about in the offseason, though.
Yeah. We sure will.
Ahead of the draft.
The draft. Combine stuff comes up. I did watch a little bit of the Senior Bowl. We watched some Pro Bowl. We can talk about some of that stuff, but it'll be like 3 weeks by then. So
amen. Yeah. All right.
Whatever.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. Share it to 100 people that you know, 30 people that you don't know.
Yes.
And then your mom.
Especially your mom.
And also your dad.
And any siblings you might have.
Yeah, there you
nieces, nephews, dogs.
go. Dogs.
Just like pin it to their collar, send them off running around like this. The URL.
Just tag like the dog Instagram account and let them watch it.
People love that stuff.
It's weird. I can't do it.
I mean, I could do it.
You could do it, but you
I
don't.
want to.
Yeah. We hate social media as it is, let alone do it for the fucking dogs.
That's right.
And Jessica, if you're watching this, I apologize for the cussing. Hopefully you watch this. And Braden, cover your ears.
That's right. Bye.